Welcome to County Portal, your simple source for local government services and public records. Let's get started.
The president when George Floyd was killed on May 25, 2020, was Donald J. Trump. This fact is more than just a piece of trivia, it's central to understanding the massive social and political explosion that followed. George Floyd's death occurred in the middle of a deeply turbulent year. The nation was already grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic and was heading into a heated presidential election. When the video of the killing went viral, it sparked immediate and widespread protests against police brutality and racial injustice. The response from the White House, led by President Trump, became a defining element of the crisis. Initially, the president expressed his condolences, calling the death a very, very sad event. However, his tone quickly shifted as protests, and in some cases riots and looting, spread across the country. He adopted a strong law and order stance, famously tweeting, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts," a phrase with a controversial history tied to the civil rights era. This approach defined his administration's reaction. He urged governors to dominate the streets and threatened to deploy the U.S. military to quell the unrest. One of the most memorable moments of this period occurred on June 1, 2020. Federal law enforcement officers used tear gas and rubber bullets to forcibly clear peaceful protesters from Lafayette Square, an area directly in front of the White House. Immediately after the area was cleared, President Trump walked across the square to St. John's Church, where he held up a Bible for a photo opportunity. This act was heavily criticized by many religious leaders and political opponents as a political stunt that used both force and faith for appearances. The president's handling of the situation created a stark contrast with his political rival, Joe Biden, and the events of that summer became a major issue in the 2020 presidential election. The administration's response fueled the debate over racial justice, the role of law enforcement, and the powers of the presidency itself, making Donald Trump's presidency an inseparable part of the story of George Floyd and the movement that rose from his death. Thank you for watching. We dive into complex topics like this to provide clarity on key historical moments. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button, leave a comment with your